So very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends. Thanks for joining. I hope you had a good day so far, and you had a very good morning for my friends joining from US. Uh, I hope you had a nice lunch, those who are in the United Kingdom and the EMEA. And friends from India, I'm sure you had a tiring day, though, of course, most of you might be working from home. So welcome back, and I would rather say welcome back because many of you would have attended my webinars earlier. All right, so let's get started. No, today's whole agenda for this wasn't really from the perspective of uh, talking about resources as in general. It was all primarily targeted towards a very specific objective that we had. And this particular objective, I set it for to make a contextualization of resource management into the project management. So, little bit about myself. You could see me, see in front of the screen that you could see. So, Kuntesh, are you able to see my screen as well? Yeah. Oh, thanks. Okay, fine. Thanks, guys. So this is about me, and we are in the world of ProThoughts. So what ProThoughts does, those who are already aware of ProThoughts, yes, those who are aware, no need to tell you. But those who aren't aware of what ProThoughts is, we are the one single point of reference for the project management as a company, and we are so passionate about this particular world of project management that we do everything on a one umbrella. We strive to do everything under one umbrella. So basically we have got something called our learning management system in terms of topprojectmanagement.com. We have our own good tie-up with a great software called Project Insight, which is a kind of a fusion between MS Project and your Jira. Then we have our online e-learning modules whereby people can enroll and do the various different courses in the project management. We have our own counseling, we have our own content management website, and of course we have something called consulting services. So that's what we do. These are some of the reference customers that we have as a part of ProThoughts. I'm glad to talk about this, some of the achievements that we had, and the recent one, in terms of the Catapult Challenge Makers and CEO Insights, where the CEO Insights were selected the best, one of the top 10 corporate trainers as ProThoughts. So these are the modes of delivery that ProThoughts gets through. We do our online trainings, of course. We do a classroom training. Thanks to the COVID world, that we do not do a classroom training. Of course, from the perspective of the safety, which comes first for us, and from the, of course, the perspective of the at ease. So like 8 o'clock in the evening, you guys are at ease at times. It's not too much too delayed in the timelines, not too early even from my friends in US. It's not too early. It's at 8:30. So that's quite comfortable kind of a timing. These are some of the reviews from our social medias. This is something which I very strongly believe. And when I think about this slide of Gautam Buddha, I just think about one thing. If you all think through that you know everything, then probably you know nothing. Okay? You know everything, that's probably even if you know everything, for you and I both, there is always a learning opportunity. So this is the first principle in my resource management aspect. Now the second principle that I always believe is the project management principles where we all talk about the project managers, right, being expected to deliver 9 babies in a day. Well, that's may not be too no hypothetical scenario, but you do that, right? As a project manager, those who are the PMs, you juggle. You're a juggler primarily. So what I thought, why don't I take a topic which is not too generic in terms of resources, which is you and I, but try to elevate yourself. So that my topic of the day, or you would have seen the first slide, my content for the day uh, is going to be all hovering around, let's elevate each other. So each other meaning you and I together. And with respect to the project management framework, so many of you, would have gone through the project management body of knowledge training, or you would have gone through the Prince trainings, you would have gone through the certification as well. So for you, it could be a revision, but for you, it could be the application of the concept, because what I'm going to do today, I'm going to relate this concept to the practical live example of mine. So I'm going to take a live case study of my experience and going to explain you this. So we will not restrict this session that I'm going to talk about next 35-40 minutes. I'm not going to restrict it only to this theory or principles that I have carved out, but we will try to apply them. And my request is, if you can also apply as we speak, to your real life scenarios, that would be really great. One word of caution, most of you will be muted. I request you to keep yourself in a mute. After 35-40 minutes, I'll just open up for the Q&A, whereby you can type your questions in the question answer panel, and I'll be happy to read them out, and for the benefits of everybody, I'll answer them. So let's begin. If you see this kind of pictures, my friends, I'm allowing you to some time to see this kind of pictures. If you look at this kind of pictures, okay, I don't need to tell you which kind of so-called projects are they. Okay. Assume that this was a program of multiple projects across the globe taken simultaneously. That's the first assumption I want you to do. Think about this beautiful picture. Something different altogether. An education institute picture. The question here is, and I always keep wondering, what do these great projects have common in them? Then, no, I got multiple answers whenever I ask this kind of a question to everybody. I got, okay, everybody had a time, everybody has a cost, and everybody had called, people involved. So, of course, time and cost, no doubt about it, since the old BC 203. The only, probably the one of the crucial aspect of it is going to be you and I, and that's what I'm going to map today with the world of project management. That's called resources. So when we think about resources, my friend, in terms of project management, I'll directly come to the bottom line of this. We have two types of different teams, and I'm not going to take your time much in terms of what a project manager do, etc. Rather than, I'll directly come to the point. When you carve upon a project, right, a real good project manager on a very professional note, he would have two types of team. One, project management team, and second, project team. Okay. Now, when you say project team, a lot of people get confused. They say project team, is it something which is the only people who execute the project? No. So the project team, actually speaking, consists of the project management team, who contains project manager himself or herself, and his management team. That means the people, one or two people who is helping project manager out in planning and monitoring and control. Could be a project coordinator, could be the project expeditor, could be the project analyst, could be PM again, could be the resource management group in certain companies. There is a shared resource group or for who supply shared pool of resources in a matrix org structure. So this is one team, project management team. Second team is the other team members, which is project staff. That means people from various functionalities. Be it a traditional project management approach you do or agile project management approach you do, whichever project management approach you take, the project staff, the other team members, could be a cross-functional team, could be a team which has been formed from different business units, could be in one single geographic location, in one office, could be in multiple geographic locations across multiple offices. Now, a lot of my friends in Agile management, some of them are already, I could already see you guys. Thank you so much for joining. And they wonder, how do we do Agile projects at scale when you have 8 geographies? And believe me, I handled a project which had got 8 countries, and we did an Agile project management approach to develop one of the beautiful software. Of course, there are product development software, no doubt about it. But you won't believe, a team of 375 people. Is it first of all required such a big team, out of which there were 10 member team on the project management side? So 10 plus 365 was the actual amalgamation of these two in a project team as a whole. And it was killing. When you said 365 members, was killing. So we had a different mechanism too, and I'm not going to get into those frameworks right now. Absolutely, I'm not going to get to the safe end. I'm not going to go to the Scrum of Scrum, etc. But that was my experience with my Agile, such a huge project, which was 8 countries. The way we did was completely different. Probably in some other forum I'll explain you how did we actually manage this kind of a scale project. But it was a good experience for all of us. How did we try to tailor the approach? So here is a word called tailoring come into play, whereby the team that you select in a project, if you are the sponsor, if I'm the sponsor of the project, and you have to select a project manager as a resource tagged to a particular project, I'm sure you have a criteria for selection. In a most likely manner, I would rather have the known devil, okay, as a project manager. So that's one. The project manager also, when it's allowed to select his own team, all right, or the programmer, technical lead, architecture owner, business analyst, for example. The experiences that I have many in the IT projects world, many of apart from IT projects as well, of course, no doubt about it, in the world of EPC projects. I'm taking a small example that I actually faced in the world of software development. So this particular team was all broken down across their respective functions. The same team was deployed back into a SAP implementation project that we did when it was SAP ABAP and SAP 4.0, just the next release of R3. What's important also, guys, to remember is this small thought process of who play what role in the world of project management. And especially in today's world, it's extremely crucial to organize the roles and their primal responsibility, if not the secondary responsibilities. So we actually nailed down the roles and responsibilities into the 1, 2, 3, exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different roles. And there were a few more roles that we could identify, but these were the primary roles. So there was another role called architecture owner or a program manager, but then we joined it later on, later point of time. However, we had a nice learning on this because that was not right approach. Why? Because we could realize, oh, these roles are also required as a program manager role in such a large project. I thought that a project manager probably could do the job, and that's what I was been probably hired in the company to manage that project as a whole, and the whole team is mine. But that was a wrong assumption. Probably even the sponsor had that. So that was a nice lessons learned for us, and we moved on. What we did, we added the role. Though we had this kind of a document in place, it was not thorough, to be honest with you. It was not thorough at all. And then we learned that why should this so-called R&R document be there in a project? And realizing that, we also realized the importance of one of the classic terms that we use, you and I both use today, called RACI matrix. And this is precisely what we try to do. I'm not supposed to let you know the name of the customer that we worked with for that particular project. That has to be secret. But yeah, I'm trying to take a snapshots of those and trying to show you something. So most of you would be aware of what RACI is. But a more major important thing for you is to have RACI applied to your projects. Responsibility, accountability, to be consulted, to be informed. This RACI matrix structure is probably very few project manager I have seen them actually creating in this way, in this format. There's a sync that there cannot be too many templates for this, my friend, on RACI. Most generic template. You have your WBS, you have your deliverables, you have work packages, whatever you call it as, in the one side of it. And the right hand side, you have those roles and responsibility carved out already. Now, at this point in time, when you're trying to define roles and responsibility for the people in a project, you might not be in that project. We never had the names to those roles. I'll repeat, we never had the names to the roles. And that's the first so-called process, even in a PMBOK, project management body of knowledge, called plan resource management process. See, I'm trying to tag this the way the standard methodologies of the project management that's been drafted out from years and so-called being implemented, not been implemented. And that's a little sad area when I don't see people implementing it, even if they know this pretty much. Those who are PMP certified, my friends, I'm sure you'll vouch for it. Those who are already 5 years, 10 years, gone through these PMP certifications, they don't apply. So crux of the matter is, if you learn something, you and I both, I'm not saying that it's no big bang approach to apply. Learning is always continuous. Like I'm so thankful so many people joined this kind of a webinar today. I'm so thankful to you guys, first of all, taking your time out. Why are we here? What's in it for us? What's the ROI for that 1 hour? What's the ROI for me? Why should I give a free of cost? The pain area comes here. The pain comes here, and when I don't see people applying this, it's a major problem. So those who are applying it, absolutely. Those who are heads up to them, and you can always keep improving it. So I'm not going to take you in the deep of this, but yeah, when I just talk about, for example, develop a business case, So who's supposed to be, accountable for the business case? So I say the project sponsor is accountable for the business case. I can put responsibility as a senior management as well for the business case there. I can put a project manager responsible to define the business case in case he's been interested upon by the sponsor. So there are various types of, and depending on a time, there could be a various roles a PM play and a team plays as well. I'm sure those who are in the agile project management, you have heard about generalized specialists, right? Generalized specialist is nothing but you are not very unlike the past. We've gone with the days where we had actual only specialist roles. Like for example, the database administrator, the very specific role. I understand that we need it, and we need that kind of a core competency in the DBA, no doubt. However, if you look at development, testing, this kind of roles have been gone in a team member. There's no separate development, no separate testing. We live in the world of test-driven, trace-driven development, so on and so forth. So the first application of this framework called project resource plan is nothing but this particular RACI matrix. There's another one I thought I'll probably get it for you, a website development RACI, a very standard task. Of course, I could find it, to be honest, on the web. I could just see the picture and I liked it somehow. I thought I'll just use it. And of course, heads off to the people who created this. Of course, due diligence to the source. If you look at this, you have activities lined up: project planning, website construction, content review, usability testing, etc. And you have roles defined. And you have very clear color coding mark in terms of RACI response, who's responsible, who's accountable, who's to be consulted, who's to be informed. My small request, guys, after saying this today, go back immediately, even if you can, this evening itself or this morning, this afternoon, try and make some simple RACI matrix for you. See if you can try. My whole idea for this 35 minutes was to just make you apply what you know. I know that you know. And I don't know, I know what you do not know. Probably you might know what you do not know as well. Must be thinking, what's this? But yeah, that's a fact. Right? Anyway, the worst case scenario, we do not know what we do not know, right? That's a kind of a gray area we need to deep down. This is another favorite side of mine, friends, which I typically uses in my deliberations, facilitation. I don't need to explain this at all. In the school days, we used to all have multiple subjects to learn. In the PM days also, you have multiple deliverables you are, responsible for as well as accountable for as well, don't you? Even as a team member, as a team leader, a true leader, a servant leader, kind of accountable for more than one piece at times. So that's what this particular slide convey. Direction is more important. Okay? A quick recap or a reminder for you guys, the PM's job. When we talk about a resource management, the first resource after a sponsor is obviously the project manager. Who else? I'm not taking program manager here, but I'm keeping up aside. I'm talking about project manager, and that's the role they play here, right? Plan for integration, assemble the resources, or build a team, develops, delegate the task, so on and so forth. The one important point I noticed in this slide was something called solve problem and resolve problem. There is a difference between the two. Those who are wondering, still wondering what the difference is, let me help you out with the difference. The difference is, when you say resolve, it's tactical resolution with the help of a team. But when you say solve, it's permanent resolution, getting into root cause of it, like a corrective and preventive action. That's the job of a PM. And if I look at the talent triangle of today, that PMI is the largest project management institute in the world, and they have come up with a talent triangle. So that triangle has got 3 sides. Okay, there's an equilateral triangle, which means 33% each weightage given. One side talk about technical project management, where the human being, you and I, are supposed to be technically aligned project manager. This was the problem in the past, coming from the pain area in the past. Project managers, those who are generic project managers, they will not probably be hired anymore. So technical project manager, 1/3 of a weightage. Second side, strategic and business management, 33% higher weightage for this as well. And the third side, leadership. Unless you have these 3 in one combination, gone were the days where you always talk about iron triangle of cost, schedule, and scope. Gone were the days. We are in a talent triangle today, whereby I'm not going to much focus on the competencies and skills of the resources here, but I'll touch upon the interpersonal skill. My whole idea today was to just map what the best practices in project management in terms of resource management. How do you manage the resource and elevate them in terms of how do you lead this? So welcome to project human resource management process in a nutshell. 4 processes in this area, as this is exactly what PM box says. 1, develop the plan. 2nd, acquire the team based on the plan. 3rd, develop them. And 4th, manage them. A simple process. This is a big slide. I'm not going to bore you on this one, but taking up that particular project that we had, I was given an opportunity in this particular project, a live project. As I said, I'll mention this case study and map it to them. I was given an opportunity to build a team of 100 people, actually 110 to be precise. This was a few years back. And I never built such a big team. In fact, first time I was supposed to build this team, I was de facto, in fact, I was selected on payroll of the company, but it was one of the worldwide reputed organization, and I managed to get this selection as a PM only for this opportunity, which was kind of 3 years opportunity. So this 3 years opportunity came at a cost of a lot of travel and whatnot. I never built this team of 100. I was thinking, what could be the best possible methods I could? So I tried to venture around here and there. I did a lot of study. I did a lot of midnight oil. I did burn. I spoke to a lot of colleagues like you who were experienced enough. And then I realized something I learned in 2006 when I was going through my PM BOK preparation. Of course, it was not detailed in those days, no doubt about it. It was in 3rd edition, if I remember. In 2007, I passed out. But then I realized there was some area called human resource management area. And then I tried to pick up some threads from it, but it was too theoretical. And then somehow I thought I probably would not dwell too much into it. So I left that. And I went to practical mode. So I didn't take up a framework. But then I realized that I think some piece of the framework is important somewhere. So then I said, okay, what do we do? So the first thing that I learned is called plan your entire framework of resource management. And this is exactly where we started thinking about all these dots. First, what kind of people, type of people, quantity will come later. What kind of people, what kind of a role they will play, okay? What kind of a responsibility we assign to them, what kind of skills and competencies they come up with, when all would they be required, each role as a typical resource calendar, right? Each role through this 3 years period, which role required how long. This detailed planning create a basic framework, the 4 different corners of the wall for us the first time. I never did this, honestly, in the past. And then we fuse in few more elements of what kind of development needs these resources will need. It's a global project, so will they need to go through the on-site locations to get trained? How long they will stay in the on-site? Okay, if it's on-site, then cultural aspect come through, cultural issues would come through, all sorts of. This included one of the basic challenge for me called interviewing the people across India, because our headquarters in India, that office. This was, believe me, one of my worst experience selecting the people. I'll be honest, guys, on this. It was nightmare for me. I'm not sure how many of you would have gone through. I spent day nights with the HR team, understanding the processes, interview questions, as if at first I was in it. It was not that I was not aware of this, how to interview the people, but coordinating, facilitating the experts, asking interview, matching their time, doing a literal project manager's role. But slowly, guys, we arrived. It took 1.5 years to build a whole team, develop them. And this is exactly what I'm going to talk about today, my experience. It was one of the, I would say, worst experiences, but on the same side note, best experience for me from my learning personally. In my other PMBOK related training or agile trainings, I can't, I don't have opportunity to talk in detail. So that's the reason I thought I'll probably bring a live case study today in front of you. The next one, once you have built a training, we build a, the framework. Now, how, from where, right? So now we talk about how many within each group that you would have created in a framework. From where are you going to get it? Go grab it. So the whole execution of my framework that I define happens here. Start here. That could be pre-assignment. Pre-assignment, I'm sure you guys understand the pre-assigned resources who are already known in the company, known devils, as I said. I am a pre-assigned, for example, if I'm working for 10 years in the company and my sponsors know me very well, like me very much, okay, Saurabh, you're going to be my project manager for the next project. I'm pre-assigned. Same with I'm working with Kundesh. I know Kundesh from last, 5-6 years. So Kundesh would be a de facto team lead for me. But that is a challenge. Why? Because Kuntesh, right, or Harsh, or Mayur could be working for somebody else in a typical matrix org structure. Well, then negotiation, another technique with the functional managers, no other choice. You might have a common resource pool where you might have a good amount of experts or specialists available in that pool. I played a PMO role as well. And of course, to set up PMO for 2 companies by now, I know how does it take to manage that kind of a shared pool of resources. And then it wasn't easy. Believe me, it wasn't easy. It's not, still not, even today, it's not easy. When it comes to such a soft area, my friends, it's come to such a soft area. This soft area is most vulnerable and difficult area, believe me. You can manage scope, you can manage time, cost, you can manage schedule, you can even manage your external customers or stakeholders there. So once you have this, your various methods of recruiting the team from wherever, then your next task is to develop them. Right? So this is a third process in a very structured framework. First was plan resource management, where you created the plan, outline, framework. Second was based on the plan, go execute, go full throttle and execute the plan, do acquisition of the people. Then third, once you acquire them, develop them. Create in a groups. If you're already not done, create groups, create teams, create cross-functional team. And the first thing that I could always think about is my favorite. A development is there, even if they are trained, right? Even if they are trained, ensure that you take them through this. My first suggestion and a kind request to all of you. I'm even reminding myself as well that same way. Taken for granted. No, don't take it for granted. The moment you take this area for granted, oh, everybody knows communication very well. Everybody knows conflict management. I have worked from last 10, 15 years with all sorts of difficult stakeholders. I've done a difficult stakeholder management. Bullshit. No, including me. I've yet to learn, my friends. This last part that you see there, right? That self-actualization level. I'm not sure if you learned Maslow's hierarchy of the 5 levels, right? Starting the basic needs till the most important one, critical in your life, called self-actualization. That's called self-awareness. And this is very important. Our cognitive skills, which are absolutely crucial. This is how your team will grow up once you try to build. How do I develop a team? A real high performance team. First principle is this one, guys. Don't take it for granted that everybody knows everything. You'll be taking big risk. Second, training. Of course, your project management related training, the cross-functional trainings, and all sorts of training that you could think about. Team building activities, internal activities, external activities, right? Co-location, ground rules, recognition rewards, personal assessment tool. You might be having your own software to assess the individuals as well as the group or as well as the team in terms of how have they developed so far in terms of the developmental aspects of it. You defined a developmental aspect. How have they developed? How have they grown? Co-location meaning getting all the team, in one single location, either probably for a small period of time or for a large period of time. Ground rules meaning you are setting up the norms as a peer. How does this is my another favorite, and I'm sure everybody knows this. My practical challenge in that project, live project, I did my forming, and I'll be honest again, I did my forming. Once team is formed, people come together, they storm. That means they would have all difference of opinions. They would have all have all the technical competence skills and the levels of their competencies, various levels of ego, technical ego need to be thrashed off. I managed to somehow, not too successful setting up the norms, but still set up the norms. Team performed as well, because once you have the team form, storm, norms are set. People believe in those norms, and people work together as per the norms. They perform. May not be always, but still. But what I didn't probably appreciate myself, I didn't learn how to edge on. I didn't know how to edge on, which means release the people at the right time so that they do not want the project. The moment project is over, they better not to put your time card entries in my project. This is a practical experience and still costing. Second biggest mistake that we did. Whenever somebody leaves my team, I have to repeat this process, and somebody joins the team, new, forming, storming, norming again. That become hold such a huge big team of 110 people. It's becoming hugely difficult, friends. So not everybody, but at least at 5-10 people together, whenever they leave, join, or after a period of time, you have to repeat. If you look at this arrow, right? Adjoining, come back here in the error to forming again. And the last process, once you have developed the team enough, and one of the classic tool in my development for me always been the outside development in terms of doing the team building activities outside the company, where we enjoy Fridays, Sunday, Friday half day, we just go off till Sunday half day and just enjoy. Take a team of whole team. Probably we such a huge team might not be possible at one go, but then we divide it into batches and then we take them out. And the last one is managing the team. This is like, trying to observe, trying to communicate, trying to converse with them, understanding how they're performing on the projects. Are there any challenges they are facing? Any stakeholder relationship issues related to communications? All this kind of things that a project manager does in this process. And my practical experience was we somehow was introduced 360-degree review. If I have to map this process there, the new process that we carved out here, which wasn't there in the original when we developed the team and the processes, but we all of a sudden realized, or we heard about this that's working fine across the multiple organizations, and for such a big team, it could work fine. So we took a risk. We worked very closely with human resource management team globally, and we introduced this particular new 360-degree feedback, whereby all the cross-functional, we do a peer review and peer feedbacks. Good. It was so far so good. It went well. All of a sudden, certain challenges came through. And I remember one situation where a team of 16 people, 16 functional unit, they all boycotted. They said, we're not going to work tomorrow onwards. Why? We have been exploited. By whom? By so many people across. By the multiple kind of requirements coming through. There's no prioritization on requirements at all. And there is nobody in terms of the business who takes this call. Another lessons learned. Listen to the team. Listen to everybody in the team. In fact, just before the training, I just finished one call. I just listened for 30 minutes. Do you have that active listening power? If not, develop it, guys. I learned it hard way. Active listening, not even a passive listening. Active listening. That too towards the evening. And one person who's coming with the whole issues, you can't say that. Practical experience. I thought I'll try to explain you in the probably before I end up for my presentation today. The last thing that we and the probably very, very important, and I'm sure you all would agree that this is a unique skill in a PM. Not every project manager, not every leader, even the top management at times would have this skill, conflict resolution. As you see, there are 2x2 matrix here, right? The two variables that you could see is objective orientation, which means I am a relationship oriented, and second is I'm a task oriented, objective meaning objective of the project, and second is called relationship orientation. That means I am a person friendly. One is the project task oriented, like you have project activities on back-to-back critical path, whatnot you talk about, very critical activities. Oh, I can't afford any single day delay. Sorry, it's like not a Hitler approach, but so-called a directive approach. Orientation towards the project only. That's all. When do we complete? It's not single day delay can be acceptable versus the relationship. So 4 different 2x2. When my objective orientation is high, I'm task focused. When the relationship orientation is low, I force the people to do it. Oh, you have to do it somehow by hook or crook. Whereas your objective orientation is low, but the relationship orientation is high. That means I'm trying to do some kind of a lose-win, right? I accommodate. In the forcing, we say win-lose. As a PM, I try to push people to get the job done. When my relationship oriented, okay, I understand the situation. If you're not keeping well, I'm fine with it. I'll figure out a plan B for you. Don't worry about it. You take this. right? The third situation where both are low, where people are trying to avoid the situation, avoid the conflict. People try to dissuade, people try to postpone for tomorrow. Probably that doesn't resolve the problem. Take it heads on. Unless the conflict is too high, you don't want to then pay attention. The best one, rather, of course, depends on situation as well, is the last one called problem solving, the top one, which is where the relationship and objective orientation both are high. I understand people, my emotional quotient is high, as well as my project management skills are on the top-notch level in terms of the performance on the project. Not a single day delay can be. I will not allow it as well. At the same time, I will not break the relationship with my team as well. This is a part of your high performance team building exercise. The first thing a PM does is build this kind of understanding of the conflict resolution techniques. And in whichever situation they go, they may not be always like problem solving be applicable, right? At times, if the conflict will go beyond, they might even need to either do a withdraw or compromise at the thing, right? So with that, I probably thought that I keep it at a high level, and this is something which we kind of team kind of a work play. I'm sure you would have seen a lot of things like this. We do this game approach. Many of you know this pretty well. I really didn't want to take you to this, but yeah, there are basically 5 types of power. First of all, it's expert power. SMEs have expert power. You have something called legitimate power, which means the position-based power for a PM. Then you have a reward and coercive power. Reward means you have power to reward something for a good job. You have power to punish something, that's called coercive power. And the last is referent power. So this is where a person which has been referred to, oh, this is a good person. This is a good team lead. Please go to him. He's a great DBA. Go to him in database crashes, so and so forth. Okay. So with that, probably I'll try to limit myself, okay, with this particular slide, my friends, and I'll really open for the questions. And there is a question and answer panel in front of you. So feel free and type your questions if you have. Yeah, questions, anybody? No? Okay, so there's a question coming in from Kuntesh. Any highlights about the case? Let me just try to bring this panel separate. Kuntesh, just give me a moment. Can't really read the question properly. 1 second. Just trying to move away from this. Yeah. Any highlights about the case study? Okay. So Kuntesh, thanks for asking. The highlights from here and the lowlights as well. Highlights were primarily managing or leading this kind of a project team, which is a company which is truly global, was a difficult job. It required continuous learning approach and trying to define the framework in terms of roles, responsibility, be it your construction project or be it a software project, whichever project you were. I found one thing common, that framework helped you in terms of what will I do in my resource management across the life cycle of the project. So that's pretty important for you to do. Low light was, we tried taking few things for granted, Kuntesh, and we thought that people knew interpersonal skills, people knew communication, people will not have too many challenges on terms of the cultural related aspect. in communicating with the different cultural folks across countries. So that was a low light. And there were many low lights which we tried to improve upon as we went. It took 18 months, as I said, 18 months, kind of highlight, low light both, but we had that kind of a time because the remaining 1.5 years was the execution of the project. Okay, so that was one question. I hope, Kuntesh, that answer. You skip estimate activity resources? Not really, my friend. So you know what? Estimate activity resources, has gone to the area called schedule management now. So, and you are so correct that I can always tag it to resource management. So that process is gone to the schedule management already. Okay, I think, yeah, you are right. I think the 6th edition, sorry, my apologies. I think the 6th edition has it. Okay, it's a reverse way through. I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah, I agree with you. I missed it. It's right. The 6th edition has it is a part of this. Correct, you're right. Estimation of the resources, credit. And this is exactly where I was mentioning about the quantity of those people before you try to acquire the people. Estimation, very, very true. Correct. But based on roles and responsibility of based upon the plan, you decide the quantity and the type of resources. Type you would have done in the plan, but quantity here is where you decide. What is the role of PMO? So Santosh, the role of PMO in the project management team, a very crucial role where the PMO comes on board and PMO defines, direct the whole team, depending on the level of PMO, 3 types of levels of PMO, supportive, uh, controlling, and directive. These 3 levels of PMO will have a different roles. In a project team, the supportive PMO can just support the whole team. Okay, PMO is not a unique person's name. PMO is a name of entity, a business entity. PMO role, primary roles and responsibilities, as you probably already would know, Santosh, would be to support the team in terms of standard practices and processes, some guidelines, some tools, certain norms which are already available, right? Certain thought processes or those what you call documents which could be made available to them from the shared learning or shared learning databases. And then same with the controlling and directive PMO, at the depending on the levels, they would go one step higher. In terms of controlling, PMO would try to monitor and ask questions as well, try to help the PMs or the end team, not just the PM. So you see, since it's a project team, right? It have a PM also. So you try to help them with asking why your project is 20% behind schedule. Why did you miss out this deliverable? And why is this challenge with the stakeholders still open? So and so forth. Directive PMO, this is where everybody will report to the entire all your project team itself will report to the directive PMO in a directive PMO setup. But I don't see honestly directive PMO at many organizations today, because not too many organizations really believe in such a project management with such a large team, which probably need a directive PMO. But yeah, people are slowly trying to move toward the directive PMO. Yeah, absolutely. Control resource. So what what I try to not consider here, Kamal, is not too many processes where, and you are so right. The last process is control resources, no doubt about it. And control resources comes from the monitoring and control of the resources, whereby you try to analyze how the people have been developed so far, what has been going on in the team currently. Are they really getting mapped, or some of the roles are need to be relinquished again? Given a classic example of this monitoring, this control resources not only go into in the end of the project, it's always throughout the life, from initiation to closure of the project. So from starting from planning of your resources, starting from the framework itself, it start monitoring. So in our case, when we developed the team, it happened that one particular function of 6 people, as I remember, their performance was extremely poor. And this was not related to the managed stream process, but this was all related to the kind of the work which was added as a part of change requests. And this was beyond the control for them. We never hired any people. If you look at, thanks to the COVID situation, most of the companies said, how do I get best productivity from the minimum? How do I get maximum from minimum? How best can I squeeze people? How can I work with a minimal set of people? With today's COVID situation, my friends, and Kamal, you will appreciate that people have a biggest challenge today. There's a threat also, and there are opportunities as well, both the ways. So control resources, and I agree with you. So you always have this monitoring and control setup. There is another situation it's been faced. I'm facing a situation regarding a team frustration, low productivity. Excellent question. Thanks, Saurabh. And you're not the only one. On all this, so many people that we have here, all this would somewhere or other face this, including me. And this happened. When there is a frustration, automatic outcome is a low productivity. Now, how do you manage this? And there is no sacrosanct answer, my friend. One, it depends on situation. However, few pointers. Active listening. So your communication skill, maximum. Second, you need a coach as well. And your coach may not be external coach. Your program manager, your sponsor could be a coach. If you are not the coach, by default, just take a joint collaboration with someone you trust. I did that. In my last organization where I worked, I did this precisely the same. I collaborate with peers. In this situation, when you face a low productivity, the others can step in at times and try to understand the situation. Lending ears. The theoretical words, right? Absolutely, no choice. But use it in practical, active listening. When there is a carrot, yes, you need to show. When there is a stick, and I'm not against putting a stick, but I'll be very careful putting a stick. That's how I'd say. And I've seen so many situations where teams get frustrated. One of the classic incident I know, in one of the deliverable which was very tough, and this was kind of integration of all legacy applications. It's just, this is too crazy. And if I tell you the number of applications, you'll go crazy. 7,000 applications, 7,000 legacy apps to be consolidated into 10 apps, 10 applications at a global. This is a global challenge. The local team that I had, one point of time, they're frustrated. No matter what you do, their productivity comes back. What I did, I said, guys, let's go off. Forget everything. I took approval. I had a budget. And this is where a PM need to learn how to budget for this. I had a budget. I took a team out. We went out. I'm talking about a few years back now. We went out. No talk when you are offsite. No talk, absolute no talk of the business. We just enjoy and have fun. Monday we came back. Of course, Sunday we came back, and Monday back again to the work. People were not all back, but half of them they charged up at least. And the remaining job was easy. If you made half charge back, they will charge others back. It's a slow process though. You have to have a patience there. No choice. There's no sacrosanct rule there. It depends on so first it depends on you. What kind of skills you cultivate. But then you need to have that kind of a great facilitation and negotiation. Negotiation with top management, getting what you need. I needed that 2 days off. No people will work. including Friday second half. No person will work. Sorry. Any more questions? You absolutely, you are always on a daily basis. You are not going to receive the productive item, my friends. Outcome. Sorry. Any more questions that you had last minute? I know it's very important time. Many friends of my India. Dinner time. I know that. Thanks. But I won't hold you back. If there is any more question, if I can help you, otherwise the ProThoughts coordinates in front of you. Write back, give some nice reviews about this, and of course you can always touch base with me. Many of you know me very well, so I'll be most happy to help you. WhatsApp me. Okay. So with this, thank you so much, guys, and I'll try to wrap up this session with this. I don't know, just to summarize this, the whole objective was not to introduce these practices in terms of the theoretical framework which we cover in the PMP sessions, but to apply really to the practical world. So I thought I'll take that case study. The global team was about 375 people, and the local team that I had to build was 110 people to be precise. I thought I'll take this experience with you and show you how this 4 processes primarily, and now 6 processes. Thanks, of course, and thanks for this 2 reminders on the estimate activity, and resources and the control resources. Pretty well. The reason I probably the reason I forgot this too, because those days we used to have those only 4, and those other 2 processes came off late. The estimate activity resources was part of schedule management then. So I could just figure out from my old thoughts, and then I thought I'll talk about this for 45 minutes with you guys. But I really enjoyed. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening. Have a great day, my friends, and I'll again talk to you after a while. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a good week ahead.